round, we asked you, Raoul, what's your allocation? And if I recall correctly, you said at the time, this is November last year, 25% gold and then 3/4 crypto. And of that 3/4 allocation, it was like 80 to 85% Bitcoin and then 15% Ether at the time. Has that changed? And how has that changed in your personal portfolio?
Ridiculously. Soon after that, my Ether allocation started going up. I sold my gold almost immediately around then, maybe just before then. So I was 100% crypto and I have been for a long time now. I'm now, depending where we are today, 55% ETH, 25% Bitcoin, and then a tail of an equally weighted basket of a mix of DeFi protocols, layer ones, interoperability stuff, and then some specific bets in kind of social tokens, metaverse, and other longer term macro bets that I want to express that view in. And I'm just following the chart very closely of the Bitcoin ETH cross, and I think it's about to explode higher again. So I may end up selling all of my Bitcoin, which is a weird thing. And again, I'm not anti-Bitcoin, but I'll sell that to buy ETH.
You may end up selling all your Bitcoin.
Yeah, I've been fighting on myself for 2 months. Why not to?
A 100% crypto portfolio with the potential of having 0% of Bitcoin. That sounds like you're in Ethereum.
Am I a total degen now? Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah. You fit right into us.
I think you fit right in here. That's for sure. Sounds similar to some portfolios I know, right, David?
Absolutely. Yeah. No, it feels like mine.
Well, so what's you said some things like you're debating with yourself on whether to do that or not. What's why wouldn't you do that?
I don't know. And part of it, it's the part of the backlash from doing it. And also I spend a lot of my time speaking to, for no reason than to help the community, is I speak to a lot of institutions, sovereign wealth funds, and everything about adoption, and Bitcoin is the thing. I get my sister-in-law into it, and I get as many people as I can. So it feels disingenuous if I don't own it. I passionately believe in it. So it's a weird thing that as an asset allocation, it's suboptimal, but for the greater good, it's probably the right thing to do. So somewhere between not selling all of it and keeping some of it, so I can still say, obviously I've still got Bitcoin, but it'll only be 5%. So something like that, I think.
We just had Ryan Selkis from Masari on, and he did it in the time frame, made a similar transformation to like more ETH. And part of the reason I think he mentioned he didn't sell more Bitcoin is for tax reasons, right? Just large, capital gains tax.
I can't even use that. Live in a tax-free Caribbean island.
Oh my God, how nice is that? Wow. Everything is better in Caymans.
We would be remiss to not talk about the just NFT mania going on Ethereum lately, especially in the last week. It's heated up really, just quite a lot, but it's really been going on for a number of months now. And one of the narratives that's emerging out of the Ethereum community is that Ether is culture money. Is this something that you consider when you allocate your portfolio, the relationship between culture, crypto culture that's going on inside of the crypto world, and kind of how it's largely kind of centered around the NFT phenomenon, which is largely based on Ethereum?
Yeah, I'm not thinking of it as an Ethereum thing. I'm thinking of tokenization allows for the tokenization of culture, which is the release of value from culture. And I spend a lot of time in this space on a lot of things. I've got a project that I'm setting up within this space, and it's not to do with NFTs per se. I think NFTs are the first manifestation of culture. I think the DAO movement is culturally interesting. I think the social tokens is going to be culturally enormous. I noticed that there is currently coalescing around culture as, do you own a punk or do you own an ape or whatever it is? Some of that will last, some of it won't last. I mean, a ton of the tail of that stuff is just vaporware, but that's fine. Everyone kind of knows they're having fun and doing it. But culture as an investment is the big thing that's coming. I can't express how big that is. But don't forget, for everybody, music is the soundtrack to your life, or sports, or all of these things. If you even think back, what was I doing in 2011? you kind of think back to what music it was on or what big events, what sport, they're all cultural. Culture is what is one of the things that drives humans or gives them, it's one of the great reward systems humans have is culture. And we've never been able to profit from it. In fact, just the brands did themselves that sold into culture. But this way, we get to participate in culture in a more meaningful way. I think it's a revolution.
I know you just said that you don't think that it is inherently an Ethereum phenomenon, but when you have a 100% crypto portfolio, do you think by having a 100% crypto portfolio, you are having exposure to the next evolution of culture? Do you think the next evolution of culture is specifically a crypto phenomenon?
Yes, without question. And obviously that ties into the metaverse because it's going all there as well. And we'll be able to kind of live in our subcultures. You know, we've gone from nation states and we're splintering into sovereign states. You know, Facebook is going to end up being a sovereign state essentially in all by all yardsticks, right? It's got a leader, kind of a mission, a set of rules, and it's going to have a system of money. And it's going to have defined borders because they're building their own metaverse, right? That's a sovereign state. You know, arguably, some of these DAOs are like sovereign states. I mean, what's the difference between a corporation and a sovereign state? Not a lot. The difference between a corporation and a sovereign state is they don't have their own money, but these do. So I mean, it's kind of mind-blowing, right? People aren't ready for the change that's coming. People can't really figure out what this all means. But the way we've understood the world over the last 300 or 400 years is about to change because of the internet and then because of what tokens do to coalesce people around a particular cause or culture or belief or whatever.
Raoul, this phrase "culture as an investment" is super interesting, and I don't know as I've heard anyone articulate it just kind of in that phrase and that simply. But I'm curious what institutions think about this. So, you know, your friends that run large macro hedge funds are big investors in the space. How do you explain why a JPEG is worth $5 million to them?
So I've written a lot about this, and if I've spent time at the forefront of anything in this space, it's all of this stuff that I've tried to be a thought leader in it. It's very simply, if I go out of my office here, I've got a bunch of famous musician prints on the wall, and they're all signed by the photographer. Now, the JPEG argument would suggest they're worthless, but they're not, because there are a limited number of prints signed by the author. Now, if I'd bought the one that had the negatives as well, it'd be worth even more. So people don't understand properly. Anybody makes the argument it's just JPEG doesn't understand authenticity and the human valuation of how we value authenticity, proven authenticity and scarcity. The same is true when people see digital art like Beeple, which I think is phenomenal, in a different medium, and they go, well, this is nonsense. Well, they said the same thing about Dali, Jackson Pollock. They said the same thing about Banksy.